Buffalo. Have you ever tried to punch it before?
Yeah. I took a
Wow.
Ford Mustang. There was a guy in a Mustang on Highland. Worst place to do this.
Hmm.
Just uh and he was just I don't know what bug he had up his butt, but it was like revving his engine. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm all torque, dude. I'm all torque. I hit go and I'm gone." And I was. And like
Yeah. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, from your TV set and your stage near you to this program, the one, the only Thom Tran. Thom, thanks for being on the program.
hello, good morning, fellows. How are things? Randy, so good to see you.
So good to see you.
It's been a
Thom and
minute.
I used to work together back in the radio days, and oddly
What's
enough, we would always,
radio?
I know, we have completely forgot. This is taking it over everything. But we used to talk about all sorts of things about cars. Interestingly enough, not necessarily the cars you would think we would talk about, but we had some great stories to tell. And before we get into that, I want people to get to know Thom Tran a little bit more because your resume includes a lot of stuff. I mean, you served in the military, you're a supporter of military charities. As I mentioned, you're a traffic reporter, not only in LA, but Buffalo. And there is certainly, I would imagine, a difference between LA traffic and Buffalo traffic. He's a comedian, he's a rocker, he's an actor. Again, he's on the podcast because we talked about cars before, and I've always wanted to have him on the show, but I just wasn't sure if our audience was ready for the car talk we're going to have. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So, but let me ask the first question, meaning LA traffic, Buffalo traffic. There has to
There's
be a
there's
difference.
there's no comparison. I was actually just home in Buffalo last week doing a fundraiser. I was doing stand up for the International Institute of Buffalo, and I was a traffic reporter in Buffalo early in my career. And I can tell you exactly when and where traffic's going to be bad in Buffalo. The 290 at the Big Blue Water Tower, the 133 at the 198 between about 3:30 and 4:15, and the 190 right around 4:30 to 5:15. LA, it's literally like everything all the time, always. It's everything sucks all the time, always. There's no rush hour. It is just hot trash all the time, always. And it took Randy, you know this. It took all the Jesus in me many days to
Yes.
not just say it's a flaming bag of things I couldn't say on the air. Just the comedian in me just wanted to be like, it's crap.
Uh-huh.
I always found a way around it, but yeah, it's there's no comparison.
When
You're
I
the
was
only
doing
one that
morning,
found a way
go ahead,
around it.
bud.
We were stuck in
Yeah. We were definitely stuck in it, that's for sure. Now I
it.
remember when I was we were working together and I would people would say to me, "Man, how do you get up so early in the morning?" Because I did morning drive, I want to say for 17, 16 years at KNX. And
Mhm.
it was just like, how could you get up and do this? And I said, well, it takes me from the West San Fernando Valley to get to the Miracle Mile where the station was located at 28 minutes at four something in the morning. But coming back when I would leave, like around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, it was at least an hour and a half. And you would
Yeah,
just think, oh
yeah.
my God. And that's early in the day. We're not even
Mhm.
talking about actual um, real deal main traffic time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. And I know you've talked about this before because it's people just don't know how to handle a lot of traffic in LA.
Y- You know what? This is what I learned. I noticed this coming back from Buffalo because I was driving around in my dad's car in Buffalo, and it was like nothing. And I came back, and two incidents happened as I was coming back from LAX, and I realized it's that people know how to drive; they're just a-holes about it. Like it's like they know what the rules are. They're just being dicks.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, the rules don't apply to them. It's
Yeah, yeah.
and one thing I got to say, since you're no longer on KNX, I miss your traffic report.
Oh,
I used to depend on them, but but all of a sudden you're gone. And I was talking to Randy, and I go, "Hey, Tom's gone. What happened?"
And I
And
went, what?
yeah,
Yeah, that I haven't actually made the official announcement. It just kind of happened. I like Randy mentioned, I'm a combat vet, and I don't want to bring anybody down, but but spent about 20 years not dealing with combat related trauma. Uh, and uh, After the last 4, 5, 6 years, in addition to, the stuff that I didn't deal with from Iraq, everything kind of came to a head in May. And oh, hi, my cat wants to get in on this.
Sure, go ahead.
Um,
As long as we don't
this
have
is
to pay the
Mario.
fee, that's fine.
Um, yeah, everything kind of came to a head in May, and I took some medical leave time, and then August rolled around and just decided I can't. It's it's not the thing that I came out to LA to do 20 years ago. And it was like the mob. It just kind of drew me back in. Every time I get out, they pull me back in. But this time I just kind of went, I can't do this anymore. So it's for my own uh, physical and mental health. So yeah, I haven't, I think I officially left on August 3rd, and I just kind of haven't said anything about it. But hey,
Hmm.
breaking news.
Hey, hey. Well, by the time
here,
this
here.
airs, maybe you will have mentioned it. I don't know. It's going to be, and again, for people who don't know, Tom's story is real interesting from the standpoint of you were in Iraq uh, for a year, was it?
Hmm.
A year or
Yeah,
so, and
yeah.
then you suffered a head injury when you were basically shot, and it kind of what went through the helmet. Was that the way it was?
Oh no, I wasn't wearing a helmet.
Oh, you
Um,
weren't. Okay. Well,
so I was attached to a team from Fifth Special Forces Group, and we were. This was actually our fourth day in Iraq. So I crossed the border on Sunday, and on Thursday, I was in a gunfight, and I took a 7.62 round from an AK-47 to the back of the head. My fourth day in combat, and we
wow.
were not wearing helmets because we were, on an SF team, and we play different,
Huh.
and they play different, and yeah, I got tagged in the back of the head my fourth day. And this was the city that Jessica Lynch was rescued from, like literally 2 days after she was rescued.
Okay.
Then I stayed. I stayed that entire 12-month deployment. Um, some other combat tragedies happened while I was there, and then I came home and retired. So I was all of 25 years old.
Hmm. Again,
You
if
only look
Sorry if I keep
26.
drinking water.
yeah. Well, thank you for your service and thank
Yeah.
you for, the things you did there and the fact that you've turned it around and managed to build something and continue to do what you want to do. How did you make the step from comedian or from military to comedy and how that really have helped you kind of recover it, right?
You want the funny answer or the real answer?
Okay.
Give me both. Al, we got a long show.
Uh, well, the real answer is I had a heart attack when I was 26.
Oh,
I came home. I was 24, 25 when I got back from Iraq. Um, I started drinking like a lot of us do when we come home. I was up to about 210 pounds. To put
Oh,
that in perspective, I'm like 153 pounds if the scale is right today. And I ate like crap. I drank all the time. I didn't sleep. Um, did a lot of bad things. And one day I was felt some pressure on my chest, smelled something weird. And my girlfriend was a doctor at the time, and my girlfriend at the time was a doctor. I'm sure she's still a doctor. Um, and she rushed me to the ER at the VA, and they were like, "You're 26 and you're like having a heart attack." So I needed to change a lot of what I was doing. So one of the doctors said, one of the things the doctor said was, "What do you love? What do you enjoy?" And my answer was nothing. Like I came home from Iraq, I'd been shot, my roommate had been killed right before we came home. I was losing friends to post combat things, and I had a real hard time. And actually, I was working on the radio in Buffalo, And the guy in the morning show that I worked with owned a comedy club. And one night sorry, that's KTLA texting me. uh, uh, One day he said, "Hey, oh my God, so many. Sorry, let me put
Tell them
this
to
on.
wait their turn, will you please? Thank you.
Let me put this on. Do not disturb. Sorry.
That's okay.
Um, so one day he said, "Hey, I need you to host radio station night at the comedy club," and it was just a promotion like, "Hey, Tom from 97 Rock, come here, hear the drink special, blah blah blah." And I loved comedy as a kid. It just wasn't a thing that I ever thought that I was going to do. So I started, hosting at this comedy club in my hometown, and I'd done stand up once in college, literally 3 weeks before I deployed to Iraq, and then nothing was funny for 2 years, and I started, giving it a shot, and it was the thing that it healed me, and it heals me now. It's I talk about it in my one man show, which is called Laugh After Death, and it's the thing that I do that keeps the voices from screaming in my head, which they do all the time. Like as a combat vet, I wake up every day. I had an incident this morning where the day did not start well. It did not start right. And if it wasn't for the fact that I go to the gym for, let's say, 140 minutes today, and that I do stand-up comedy at night, like those are the two things that keep the rest of the day from imploding for me. I hate working out. I know I have to do it. I hate staying up late, but I got to do that to do stand-up comedy. And those are the two things that I use to balance, the rest of the other 14 or 16 hours a day where I have to deal with what's that called? Others. I got to
Hmm.
deal with anything else in my life that isn't my cat, my guitar, my girlfriend. Um, those are the two things that keep me from doing it. So stand-up comedy really is it's the therapy that I can do on my own, as opposed to, like driving down the 405 to get to the West LA VA to talk to a doctor for an hour who after 6 months I'm going to have to, do all this all over again. So
Hmm.
yeah, comedy is my saving grace.
Bob, we need to get him more stuck on cars. He needs more positive stuff. Although I will say
Because I have
this
the
because
cars.
Do you see all my guitars? Are you
I was just gonna say,
kidding?
when
Oh my
we
gosh.
were at his place some years ago, and he has such a guitar collection. I mean, any rock star you have, and we've talked about that. You come up to me and say, "Oh, I have a chance to get this guitar, and I have a chance to get this guitar," and as if I know guitars, I know cars. I don't necessarily know guitars, but we used to talk about that. And it appears to me that you have added to that guitar collection since the last time I saw it.
Well,
You know what? I sold two Eddie Van Halen guitars last week, and then I had to redo my inventory for my insurance company, and I still have 44 guitars. I was like, wait a minute, when did I pick up three more guitars?
I don't
Uh,
remember that. That's a lot of guitars.
you
yeah.
got to do a card show, called Cards and
There's
Guitars.
Cars and guitars. I think there you go. Well,
oh yeah.
that's your next podcast.
I mean, this shirt I wore specifically for you guys because it's
Thank you.
from
Thank
one of
you.
my favorite. Yep, it's one of my
Thank you.
favorite musicians, Sammy Hagar, former
Uh-huh.
lead singer of Van Halen. Van Halen, obviously one of my biggest influences in music. But I can't drive 55. Even I mean that song came out when I was 8 years old and I didn't know what it meant. I was like, this is still my anthem.
I think back then you actually couldn't go more than 55 because I think that's when the state of
Yeah.
California actually lowered the speedometer as far as how fast you could drive and eventually went back to 65 and 70. But at one point they turned it down to 55. And
Right.
we
Yeah,
were
that's the
like,
story. He was
what?
driving LA he was driving LA to Vegas and he got
Mm-hmm.
stopped. That's how he wrote that song. That's why he wrote that song.
Wow. You were in all those Call of Duty video games.
I was in
And
one of the Call of Duty video
oh,
games.
just one. Okay.
Just one.
But didn't you tell me you played like everybody or a
Yeah,
lot
I'm all
of
the
them?
bad guys in the original Call of Duty Black Ops game. I
How
was a
many?
consultant on the game,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Hey, we need a character model for one of the bad guys," and then it turned out I'm the character model for all the bad guys.
No one knows how many times you die in a typical play of Call of Duty
Billions.
yeah, because even if, let's say, they get you and they shoot you and they kill you, you're back as another bad guy. So you're like recycled. You just keep coming back.
I had a buddy in Buffalo who he owned a video game store, and this was 2010. And he called me up like the day the game came out. He goes, "Hey man, we just sold out 200 copies of your video game." I was like, "Wow." He goes, "Half of them were your ex-girlfriends." I was like, "Oh."
A lot of ex-girlfriends there now.
Like, yeah, yeah, just
Yeah.
a bunch of ladies trying to kill you. I'm like, yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. But that the first car I bought, like with my own money, was a 1997 green Ford Ranger because
Ah,
Army, of course.
of course.
Um, yes, so I had this green Ford Ranger that I loved, and I used to have this joke. People would ask me what I did in the Army, and I'd be like, "Well, my favorite hockey team is the New York Rangers. My favorite baseball team is the Texas Rangers, and I drive a Ford Ranger." And they'd be like, "Are you a Ranger?" I'm like, "I'm a cook." And at that point, I got the Model 3, which has a range of like 320 or something like that. And I remember the first week after I got the Model 3, the range was originally like 310 miles an hour, 310 miles to the charge. And then I got an email that said, "Hey, we just did a software update and now you get 320 miles." I was like, "What? Just a over the air update and it boosts my
Nice.
mileage?" I was like, "Cool."
Nice.
So yeah, and then I, a couple times, couple three times driven back and forth to New York with it with zero problems.
Good.
You can get
Yeah.
some speed though on those cars too. One of my neighbors up here in Washington, he actually took his car and he bought it, and we interviewed him here on the show, and he bought it, and somebody said, "Gee, jokingly, are you going to race it?" And he said, "Yeah, what the hell." So he races it. The next thing you know, he's like in the championship of the local
Yeah.
races here for amateurs.
Is
It's
it the
it's
standard model or
it's
like the
a
plaid?
The plaid. It's got to be
The
the plaid.
plaid, yeah.
I
Forget
I
it.
guess I
Plaid
would
will.
imagine it is. Yeah. So have you ever tried to punch it before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a
Wow.
Ford Mustang. There was a guy in a Mustang on Highland. Worst place to do this.
Hmm.
Just uh and he was just I don't know what bug he had up his butt, but it was like revving his engine. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm all torque, dude. I'm all torque. I hit go and I'm gone." And I was. And like
Yeah.
he did the gear shifting thing. And by the time he got up to speed, I was down the road. I had to stop eventually because of the light, but my girlfriend hates driving in it with me because if I need to overtake, I hate the Final Destination movies, like because they ruined logging trucks for me. But anytime I'm near like one of those trucks and I need to overcome it, I have to tell her that I'm going to accelerate. Because if I don't, and then she's mad at me for the rest of the drive.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's all torque. And I don't know if you told people, I know nothing about cars. I am not a car guy. Like I know the Batmobile, the General Lee. That I'm not a car guy. I just I'm not. I grew up with guitars and comic books and video games. Um, and but this car is the only car I've ever like missed driving
Mhm.
because it's not driving. I get in it, I hit the destination and I put it on autopilot for the most part, and I just make sure a deer doesn't run out in front of me.
Yeah, I was going to say autopilot. That still weirds me out that you could put it
Yeah.
on. I mean, especially the guys in the GMC truck commercials where they're just singing, and all
You
this, and
don't
they're
do that though.
they're
That's
holding it down as he's going over, of all things, a bridge, which if he loses it 1 inch, it's going to go over the bridge, and by the time
Well, water
well,
breaks the fall.
well, this
oh,
is what I learned.
well, okay.
Th- This is what I learned about autopilot because the first day it was like I was like white knuckling it. So I'll never forget this. I picked up the car on a Thursday. I remember this because the next day I was opening for Snoop Dogg at a concert, like a festival, music festival,
Ooh,
music and comedy
wow.
festival.
Okay.
And I was like, I cannot I cannot drive to this concert where I'm opening for Snoop in a Kia. So I need to get the Tesla the deck. Like it was 3 weeks of like me bothering Tesla about where my car was. So it was a Friday in LA, and the show was at 8 o'clock in Pomona, and I live in Los Angeles. So for people who don't live out here, that's about 25 miles, which in LA time, legitimately 3 hour drive. Like I'm not exaggerating on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
So I got on the freeway at the 134 and it's stop and go traffic the entire time. And I left at 4 o'clock on a Friday. Worst time possible to go somewhere. And it's this. This is what tires you out. The stopping, going, stopping, going, stopping, going. Because I realized once I stopped doing that and I let the car do the braking and the lane switching, I could sit there and just hold the wheel and just kind of, got to pay attention. You don't sit there and watch a movie, but this is what takes up your energy and your brain constantly like going speed up, slow down, speed. If the car's doing that and you're just worried about some idiot running across the road, I got to Pomona and it was a 2.5 hour drive. So relaxed, just like because I wasn't driving. I was just letting the car do the driving. I sat there. It wasn't a taxi ride, but I wasn't doing this. My brain wasn't constantly going, stop, break, stop, break, stop. And this is exhausting for 2.5 hours in traffic. So when I got to this gig, my friends who had played earlier in the day, they're like, you look so relaxed. I'm like, yeah, because I didn't drive. Like the car did it for me, which is why, like, the two of the times I drove to New York, I made it from LA to New York in 3 days because most of the time I'm on highway and the car's driving itself. I'm sitting there like, oh, the mountains are nice. Utah looks good this time of year. I'm not doing this all day long on the gas and brake pedal. I would go 15 or 16 hours driving, stop to get dinner or go to sleep or whatever, fuel up and keep going. Like my record is 3.5 days LA to New Jersey because
Wow.
I wasn't tired because all day long I'm not doing this. Even on, even you have cruise control on, you still have to watch the cars around you. Like at least, with cruise control, if a car starts stopping, you have to take control. With my autopilot, it will slow down and speed up. And I'm not doing this for 15 hours a day with the gas pedal. And just that mentally makes you less tired. And it was that's what I realized about autopilot. You don't sit there and just go, I'm going to watch a movie, play a video. No, that's stupid and reckless. But if you want to sort of relax and drive, especially a long one, that's the way that's the way to go.
So no urge to climb in the back seat and take a little nap while the car's going along.
No, that's stupid and irresponsible.
Well, we
That's
all
that's
know
what that.
that, but there are some people out there that actually try that. I don't
And
understand. I don't.
it's never stopped some people. I mean, come on.
No, no, not at all.
I don't want to. I've seen some of the new Kia EVs, and they are sexy. They are sexy looking. I
Mhm.
haven't checked them out, but like the new Prius Prime and some of the new Kia
Mhm.
EVs, they're pretty sexy. Like I think my next vehicle is going to be one of those. I think it's the charging infrastructure for Tesla is so superior over to everything else, but everybody's switching to their standard anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's become mandated they have to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, there's a lot of choices in EVs now. Whereas when you started they were basically glorified golf carts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
today they're real cars, and we see them. I see them at the drag strip all the time, and these plaid models, they're just dominating. These things are quick. We had a
They're-
guy actually he could program it to what elapsed time he wanted, and he was right on the button every time. The only thing that made him lose in the final round was he left late. He ran exactly the time he wanted to. The reaction time was not there. And that's something the
Mm.
car can't control, but it did control the speed and the launch. We've got we had about 7 or 8 Teslas come out last Thursday, and they're just quick. They're surprising, but we saw joke and call them golf carts, but you know, it's
Yeah.
the way it is. You got a car community that's got all V8 engines, and then something electric comes out. It goes whoosh, instead of rumble.
I'm an 80s hair metal, stacks of amplifiers, the wall of amps in a stadium. I'm that dude.
Okay.
So let me see if I can show you. That is an Eddie Van Halen 5152 412 stack amplifier, 120-watt head with four 12-inch speakers. This is a half stack. You stack one up, you've got 8 12-inch speakers. Van Halen, Poison, Bon Jovi, all of those, they would have walls of these, walls of them, tube amplifiers cranking out 120 watts each. Okay. This is a 5-watt positive grid amplifier simulator. And I play this more than that because that is unnecessary. I'm not playing stadiums. I'm not playing arenas. And even I saw Def Leppard recently, a couple of years ago. Def Leppard is one of those bands that had walls of these amplifiers on stage, literal walls of them. So I feel like, and this might be an incorrect analogy, but technology wise, that's the shift. Like if you wanted fast, you wanted balls to the wall, yeah, you needed a V8 or whatever. And, you needed to add whatever, like the Mopar guys who do all the stuff to their cars, and that's what you needed because that was the technology at the time. You wanted fast, you wanted loud, you wanted to feel it. That's what you needed in the 80s. You needed a wall of those to fill a stadium, and you don't anymore.
Right.
And I think there's an emotional connection to ICE cars the way there's an emotional connection to that amp for me.
Mm-hmm.
I get that connection between people who love V8 engines and Hemis and all that stuff. Also, no idea what any of that means. I hear it in commercials. No idea what it means.
Jerry Seinfeld used to have that show. He still has comedians in cars drinking coffee and all this other stuff. If he ever interviewed you, what kind of car would you like to be in when he's driving you, when you're driving him around or he's driving you around?
The 1989 Tim Burton Batmobile.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
That's my Batmobile. I loved Adam West. That's Batman 66 blue Batmobile. Fine. But if someone said, what car do you want? Like, yeah, the 89 Tim Burton Michael Keaton Batmobile. That long, just looks like a rocket, black with the fins, and you had to shoot a hook just to turn the car because it was so long you had to fire a hook and wrap it around a light pole. Yeah, that's the car I wish.
I think Randy and I have a friend that designed that car for them.
Yeah, that was Fireball's car, wasn't
Fireball.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
He'll
that'd be my
hear this.
dream car.
I think we got to tell him to make sure he publicizes this interview because he's all over it. All right.
Yeah.
But if we're talking a real, like legitimate, like an actual roadworthy car, and I don't know why this is my answer, but oh wait, no, I do know why. 67 Shelby GT white with blue racing stripes. And I know why.
Okay.
My nephew, who is 16 now, when he was a baby, and I used to go home to babysit him because I moved out here when like the year before he was born. I would go home like every Christmas. And one year we were at a mall. And he just walks up to a girl and goes, "My uncle's rich. He's got a 67 Mustang." I was like, "Where did that come from?" And that girl got that girl's phone number. I wasn't rich and I didn't have a 67 Mustang. But I think it's because I bought him like a Matchbox. I bought him like a 67 Shelby.
Okay.
And just like he out of nowhere, he's like, my uncle's rich. It's like, I'm not, but I'll take her number.
Thom, it's great to see you, man. It's
You
great
too.
great you've been on the show.
Yeah, I am gonna be I'm a big hockey guy. So I have 6
And not
arenas
New
left.
York Rangers.
No, not New York. Not.
No.
I'm a Sabres guy.
Okay. Just had to make sure we clear that up.
At some point I'm gonna have to be a Kings guy. Like I've lived here. I've lived not in Buffalo longer than I've lived in Buffalo. And at some point I might have to get a Kings jersey. We'll see. But
I may have to go to a Kraken game now, and we're living up here. And if you're in the area when they play Buffalo, make sure you make the trip.
Well, Seattle's one of the few arenas I haven't been to. I only have 6 arenas left. 7 arenas now because Utah's a thing. That was annoying when I was like looking at the schedule. I'm like, who's UTA? God damn it. So I think I have 7 arenas left in the league that I haven't been to. And I know that in March sometime, the Kraken are playing on a Friday and then the Canucks are playing on a Saturday. So if I work it out, I can fly up, do stand up on Thursday, go to a Kraken game on Friday, fly to Vancouver on Saturday, write the whole trip off because my entire career is just getting the IRS to pay, not write off all these hockey games that I'm going to. So that's the idea. Like, so maybe in March I'll look at that schedule and tell you what games, but I know the Kraken are playing on a Friday and Vancouver's playing on a Saturday, or it might be flip-flop on the other. But
very cool.
Yeah, knock those 2 arenas out.
All right, that'll wrap up this.
Happened before then, you're fine.
And that'll wrap up this edition of the Where Can I Plug It In and When? Charging it on this Talking About Cars podcast. I'll see you next time on the Talking About Cars podcast. So long, everybody. Live well and prosper.